Hello and welcome back to Tony Northeastern for part 2. I've had some interesting comments regarding this class. A few of you have never seen this type of intercity DMU before. So before we get started, I shall do a little bit of a history guide on the units. When the London Midland region of British Rail and the North Eastern region of British Rail wanted a high-speed link between its Hull and Liverpool services, it ordered 16 sets of these from the Swindon Works, and they took heed to the drab look of the other sets of DMUs that were being produced at the time, and hence why you've got this nice bubble front on the cab. These ran out of Liverpool Street Station to Hull via York. The first service went into operation in 1960, started out from Liverpool to Manchester, and it was so popular that they increased the services onto York and then Hull, and via York with other services to Scarborough and to Newcastle. These units took place of the old Royal Scots services. They were very, very successful, and they carried on right into the 1980s. Then after that they were scrapped, and none of them survived into preservation, which is a shame, because they are quite a nice looking set, as you can see. And here is another unit. It's just leaving Scarborough around about 1970s. As you can see, if you look closely in the back of the photo there, it's got looks like a 108 DMU attached to the back of it to make up the set. Okay, here's another example. This one is departing Doncaster for Sheffield around about 1980, and it's in its blue and grey livery of the BR period, and it has the yellow cab on the front. Here's a little bit about the liveries. When the new exteriors of the cars were painted, they were painted with green with cream lining, and they never had the yellow whiskers like some DMUs had. They did have the yellow panels, they came about in the mid-60s, and then into the 70s they changed colour decor to the photo you see in front of you. You can see they always had the Trans Pennine logo painted on the set. Could talk about these all day, but I think I should get on with doing the build in part 2. Here we are, we're back at the bench, and as you can see I have resprayed all the roofs on all 6 coaches. The paint I used is acrylic mid-sea grey. I will be touching up these white panels on the rear and the driving car. It's a nice little job. Done. Okay, these are the 2 units I'm working on, the motor car and the dummy car. Now then, the dummy car is virtually almost finished. As you can see, it has a running number on the front now, 1N90, so that N represents a northeastern running out. The one that went to Scarborough had eastern, the one that was running through the Midlands would be an M, and so on and so on and so on. So the body is almost ready to go back onto the chassis. Did this morning. Was going through my YouTube comments and come across LNER377, so I checked out his channel after he left a comment, and behold, he was filming a DMU cab. So I decided, oh, I'll just put some seats in the rear, just to add a little bit detail. So as you can see, I have painted the seats as well and the flooring of the dummy car. I have changed out the broken buffer that was here. I've replaced it with a new buffer which I got from Peter's Spares. They're LMS oval buffers and they match perfectly with the buffers that originally, because there's the original one and there's the new one. So all I did was cut off the old one, filed it flat and then drilled a hole into the beam itself and replaced the buffer. And I've done that with that one, and I've still got it to do on the main driving car. That is finished, so that can go back together. Now we're going to concentrate on the driving car. Now the driving car, I have put back the bogie that was broken, so I've replaced that, screwed it back on, clipped it in place. I'm making up a panel to go into the front of there. Now I haven't got a lot of room for this panel. I've only got 10 meters at the front, so there won't be enough room to put any seats or anything like that, but I might be able to squeeze in this driver. So that's my next job I'm going to look at next. I've marked it out, as you can see, for windows, and I'm just going to scribe a door in there, and I'm going to paint that white with silver rims around the windows and glaze it from the back. And that will go in just inside there. As you can see, there's not a lot of room to put much detail. Any further back than that, I'll end up hitting the motor, which is just right behind it. So all I'm going to do is just score the door, so there'll be an imprint there to take the paint. Okay, as you can see, the window on the left here, I've drilled 4 holes, which allows me then to cut it out like I have done there, just by pushing it out with the Stanley blade, and that will be the 2 windows. And then I can just get a small file in there and just square up the edges nice and neatly. Right, as you can see, I have finished cutting the windows into the panel. All I've got to do now is paint it now, and it is very, very tight in there, as you can see. It's probably just enough room for a driver on one side and a chair on the other. So let's see. I have finished the partition. As you can see, I have the seat on the right hand side and the driver on the left hand side, and he's ready to go in. I've did a trial fit, and as you know, space right at the front of the cab is very, very tight, so he'll just sit in there just about right, as you'll see. There you go. You can just make out the driver there, look. Just putting the finishing touches on now, just putting the white headboard on, if you like. Bit of masking tape across the top. Don't want to get any on the grey. This is not what you expected to see. The driving car in bits again. It's just not pulling the dummy car at all. So I've taken it to bits, trying to work out what's going wrong, and I think it's because of the drive wheels not having any cohesion. So I've swapped the wheels back over, but I've got some tyres on order. Hopefully they'll come soon, and that'll cure that problem. And the other problem I had was the decoder overheating. Obviously, if it's not drawing the power, it's getting hot. So I've stopped what I'm doing now, and hopefully we'll try it with the traction tyres. It will pull the lighter car, the restaurant car, but it won't pull the dummy car at all. I've had a look at the bogies, and the wheels are enclosed and I can't get them out, not without splitting the wheels. And if I do that, I will lose the power to the lights. So I'm hoping that when we get the traction tyres, that will cure the problem. I have added some traction tyres to the drive wheels of the motor, just to give it a try. And this is what happens. And as soon as it hits the points, it just does not like the point. So what I'll do is I'll swap the wheels back over to the non-tyres just to see if it makes any difference. Just change the wheels over, so let's give it a go. We'll just set it away. Right, as you have noticed, it's not a very consistent runner. Whether it's down to the motor or I don't think it's the decoder, because it's still reading the decoder, so I don't think there's anything wrong with the decoder. I just think it's a really bad motor. So I am looking out possibly for a new motor, hopefully. That will improve on what I have here. That seems to go around the track, not smoothly, but it stutters here and there. On the odd occasion it stops as well. Not sure what all that is about. Anyway, if I take off these two very, very lightweight coaches and then stick on the dummy car. Okay, I've got the dummy car on the back now. Now you can actually smell the motor from here. Really it sounds like it's burning out. It's just not running consistently. I've had it to bits, cleaned all the parts, put it back together again, and it wouldn't pull the dummy car at all before, but if you look at the size of the weight I've got underneath, I've added this stainless steel by 5mm thick weight underneath to give it some extra traction. The wheels on the trailer car, they move freely, but they move from side to side and the nylon drags against, I don't know if you noticed, but the nylon inside drags against the cast iron bogies. So it's probably one of the downfalls of the Trix model. But I don't know if any of you guys out there have the Daypol version, and does that run any better? That's how it is at the moment. I've run out of ideas. The only thing I could do is try and change the decoder back over, but I think I've gone as far as I can with this. So what to do? That is the question. That's my dilemma. My first ever DCC attempt. It works, but it's not how I expected it to work after all the changes and everything I have done. But look out for another motor that hopefully will fit into that position there without too much changes to the chassis itself. A question from a fellow YouTuber wanting to know about the pickups on the Teaks, so we'll just have a quick look at that before I sign off. I do apologise because I can't remember who it was who sent the message wanting to see what the pickups look like on the Teak coaches. So here it is. These copper plates here are the actual pickups. This fold here goes through the bogie, through the chassis and into the compartment where you can solder your cables onto. So I'll just like to show you that for the person who asked the question about these Teak coaches. Going back to the Class 124, I'm a little bit disappointed in the way that it runs. Hopefully I'll come back to it at some point, but I'm not going to give up on it. So, hope you've enjoyed what you've seen, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching now. Bye.